The little black dress doesn't have to be black. In fact, I only own one of those. They can be any color, style, or fabric. Hi, this is Angela Wolf, and I'm still working on that little black dress. And in this lesson, I want to show you, in case your dress has an empire waist, or a center waist, or a lower dropped waist, how to attach that. This is really easy, and you know what else? You don't have to line your whole dress. You could just line the bodice. This dress here, remember the one I kept showing you with the cute belt on the front? This really did have a waistline, if you could see that. And all I did was line the bodice. So I'm going to show you how to attach this. And see the belt also, by the way? It's just attached to that seam. So here is the bottom of my dress, and this is the top. Because this part is not going to be lined, I serged all of the edges. And I'm not colorblind, I just chose colors so you could see what's going on here. So here is my skirt, and I'm going to keep that right side out. Then we had our bodice top. We attached part of the facing. Now this one, I pressed all of the seams open, because if my lining was going to cover that, you wouldn't see it anyways. So I usually start by, the skirt is right side out, the bodice is inside out. So right sides together, find each side seam. Now for this particular top, because I pressed this open, and this seam is pressed to the back, I need to line up this exact seam with this exact seam. Just like that. The whole idea is, even though you're attaching a waist, you want to blend everything as best as you can. So that looks pretty good. Now go to the other side seam and pin this, matching up this exact seam with this exact seam. Why do I start with the sides? Why don't I just match the notches on the pattern? Because often we've already made adjustments for fitting. Maybe you needed your darts a little bit tighter, anything like that. So this is how you make sure that everything fits well. Now if I pin these and I have a really big gap because one side is wider than the other, I need to change that. But looks like this one's pretty good. I have princess seams on the top and darts on the bottom of the skirt. They're kind of like pleat darts like this. So if, for example, there was more fabric on the skirt than the top, I would make those pleats a little bit smaller. And then go around to the back. You usually attach these before you add your zipper, which is why my zipper's not there. And all the way around to the other side. And then you're just going to stitch, attaching these together. And just stitch all the way around, being very careful when you get to the darts that they're pressed the correct way, and when you stitch over them, that they actually angle the right way. So again, going around to the side, this is the side seam, making sure underneath that that seam is facing the correct direction, even if you have to lift your presser foot a little bit, and go around. Notice that my pins are in perpendicular to the seam, because if I get to one of these seams and I see that the fabric is too much on one side, I need to rip it out and start over. Just keep stitching. For this, I'm just using a 3.0 stitch. Just use whatever is correct for your fabric, how you've been sewing your entire garment. All the way around, we're back at another side seam. Making sure that the seams are all facing the correct way. See how easy this is? Another fun idea would be to add piping into this seam before you sewed it. That's really cute. All you would do is add the piping right into this seam and stitch it all together. We're almost back to the other side. See what we have here. So our bodice is attached to our skirt now. A few little strings I need to trim off there. One more thing you need to be cautious of. This is the time to double check that this seam matches up from the top to the bottom. Because if for some reason you sewed these a little bit crooked, when you put your zipper in, you don't want it to be like this. This is where your waist met. You want this to meet exactly there. And if you wanted to add the belt, you would add the belt right here and then finish this off. Now what I'm going to do with this is press this towards the top of the garment, because then when I add the lining, I'll add the lining just like I did in this one here. I added the lining, and then you can hand stitch this right to that seam, and it covers up all the ugly stuff. Just like that. Now, if you were going to line the dress, fully line it, then this would not have to be hand stitched here. You'd have the full skirt and everything. You would just line it, and then you would tack it. But this would be the same process if it was an empire waist, a regular waist, a drop waist. All of these are the fun. It's really easy to do. And the other thing, notice how my side seams match up. If you were to add a piping in here, it would look like a belt. So all these fun things that you can do to this dress. One more thing in here I want to show you. When you're attaching your belt, you would attach it right here, just like I did here, right in the middle of the seam. So when you put your hidden zipper in, just a little tip here, you would need to move around the zipper just a little bit so it doesn't rip out. So just be careful what you embellish this with. So this is how easy it is to attach a skirt to the top of your dress no matter what kind. If it's an empire waist, drop waist, just have fun with it.